Hey guys, Weeby News here. So today I'm going to be doing my review for Danganronpa 3 Future Side Episode 8, and I quite enjoyed this episode. We got a lot of theories confirmed for this, so I'm mostly going to be going over that, but I also do have a couple of theories in this video as well. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So in the opening scene, we get a flashback of Kizakura and some woman who expresses that she was a gym teacher battling outside of Hope's Peak Academy 7 years ago. In the first game, Junko mentioned that several people tried to break in and save the 78th class from the killing game, and also that she had people protecting it from the outside, so I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here, that Kizakura and this gym teacher are fighting to save the 78th class. And in this scene we also see that the gym teacher that's with Kizakura does not make it. At first it seems like this character is completely random, but if you guys remember back in the Despair arc in some of the earlier episodes, there was a substitute teacher who was wearing an identical jacket to Asahina's. So this implied that she was in fact a gym teacher to me. And if you go back and compare this picture of her in the Despair arc to the woman in the flashback of this episode, you can see that they look completely identical, so I do believe this is the same person. But moving on from this scene, we see that Tegami shows up and begins assisting Hagakure into breaking inside of the building. And I'll cover all the stuff that goes on with them two at the end of the episode. First, I want to focus on everything that happens inside of the building. So moving on to that, we see Naegi and Asahina talking to Kamaru and Fukawa through Mia's speaker and video set. And once the conversation is done, Naegi and Asahina finally realize that Mia is in fact a robot, and they attempt to escape the room as quickly as possible. But once they make it to the hallway, they run into Munakata, who accuses Naegi of being a despair and tries to kill him. But Mia is now running on auto mode and comes out and protects them by turning into this crazy fighting machine and like forming with her wheelchair. She uses her scarf as hands. It's pretty crazy. And at the end of the scene, we see Munakata sort of transform his sword into this glowing, sort of like lightsaber-esque weapon. So I'm really interested to see what this sword does now that it's transformed into that. And if it does happen to be like some sort of like lightsaber thing, it's not looking too good for Mia. And now moving on, I want to get into the bulk of this episode, which is everything that happens in the library room. And the first thing I want to touch up on is just how incredibly intelligent Kizakura is this whole episode. He's the first one to notice all of Izuo's traps set up. He notices Juzo before he even enters the room, and then when fighting Juzo, he uses Izuo's traps to his advantage. He calls Aruka out on her lies and is also the first one to state Juzo's forbidden action as well. When the show first started, I kind of passed off Kizakura as either being a drunk or being suspicious as being the traitor, but over time I really have created a new respect for his character, especially after seeing him trying to protect Kirigiri over the killing game, and just other smart observations that he's made. A lot of you guys pointed out to me that he was in fact the first person to become suspicious of Mieya as well. So we see that there are several examples of him being a caring and rather intelligent character, but I really felt like this episode emphasized all the good qualities of his character the most. Like I mentioned before, we got a lot of theories confirmed this episode, and one of the first ones confirmed was when Kizakura accused Juzo of not being able to punch anybody. We also got a lot more confirmations on a lot of forbidden actions as well, such as Izuo's was in fact that he could not eat, Haruka's was that nobody could leave the game, and Kizakura's action was that he could not open his left hand, which if you look throughout, he really does keep his left hand in his pocket most of the time. So far we've gotten a lot of confirmation, or at least heavy implications for each character's forbidden action, and the only ones left so far that don't have any confirmation for their forbidden actions are Munakata, Kirigiri, and Ryota. I've mentioned before that there is a pretty popular theory for Munakata's forbidden action, which is that he cannot open doors. We've seen him done a lot of things to avoid doing it, such as cutting through windows, or just straight up stopping while he's chasing Naegi once he's faced with a closed door, so I'm pretty sure that's his forbidden action. As for Kirigiri, I definitely believe that her forbidden action has to do with talking to Naegi, because back when she looked down on it, we saw that she had a very shocked and sort of concerned face when she first found out about her forbidden action, and we have not seen her communicate or talk to Nagi whatsoever, but we have seen her thinking about whether or not he's okay or whether or not he's safe. And even though we've seen her express her worry for him, we have not seen her directly try to regroup with him at all. As for Ryota, we haven't really seen a whole lot of this recently, but in the earlier episodes he was pretty obsessive about the women getting either sexually assaulted or having violence committed against them. We see it when Juzo attacks Asahina, and also when Tengen comes up and tries to talk to Kirigiri. So that's the only potential forbidden action I've seen for him so far. Moving on, we also see Kizakura trying to get inside of Juzo's head, mentioning that he's failed at everything so far, and then we get this quick flashback of Juzo lying on the ground in the rain and Junko looking down at him. So I definitely feel like we'll get to see this scene in the Despair arc, and I also wonder if maybe when he says that he swore he'd never disappoint Munakata again, if that has to do with what he had told Hajime in the Despair side, and if he finds out how that really affected Hajime and how that really pushed him into joining the Izuru Kamakura project. And if this is the case, it would really mean that Juzo more than likely blames himself for the world falling into despair. And moving on from this, I do want to talk about Ruruka's character this episode because we do learn a lot more about her. In my review for episode 5 of Future Side, I really tried to defend her character and just prayed that she would get a redemption arc, especially after finding out about Seiko's death. But in this episode, I mean, she is just straight up selfish and like borderline evil. At this rate, even if she does get some sort of character redemption arc, I still don't think I'll like her very much. But moving on to what we actually do learn about her character, Kizakura accuses her of creating her own faction within the Future Foundation and planning on leaving the Future Foundation to start her own organization. And she uses one of Izuoi's attacks in an attempt to kill Kirigiri, which, as we all know, ends up killing Kizakura because he opens his left hand in order to save her. Something I liked about this scene is that when you see Kirigiri falling, it imitates when she falls in the opening as well, so I thought that was pretty cool. Also in this scene, we learn that Kizakura was in fact really good friends with Jin Kirigiri, and that he had also taken the photo of him with Kyoko that lies on Jin's desk in the Despair arc. So this whole part confirmed the fact that Kizakura was looking for Kyoko a few episodes back, and that his plan during this game was to protect her for Jin. But moving back to Ruruka's character, Kirigiri confirms the theory that Ruruka did kill Izuoi and set it up to look as if it was the attacker that did it, and Kirigiri points out all the inconsistencies, many of which we had already realized. These being that Izuoi was not stabbed in the heart, that the knife that was inside of Seiko was in fact moved to Izuoi's body, and that there was no sign of blood from the stab wound in Izuoi. I do want to point out that the one thing she didn't mention that all of us picked up on was the fact that Izuoi's body was not hung up like all of the previous murders had been before, but more than likely she didn't mention this because Great Gozu's body was taken down by the time she'd gotten the chance to investigate it, so I think she probably has suspicions about each victim being hung up, but can't confirm it just yet because of Great Gozu. I just wanted to bring this up on the off chance that it becomes important later and that it gets mentioned in the anime at some point. I'm not completely sure if it will be, but I just wanted to bring it up just in case. And the one thing she mentions that none of us had thought about was that Ruruka does do this on purpose. So I see this going down one of two ways. The first way that I think this possibly could have happened is that Izuoi finds the door, he tells her, and then she just kills him without her even revealing her forbidden action to him. Which, if it's this case, it would imply that she just does not trust him whatsoever, especially because she doesn't have the candies to manipulate him anymore because of his forbidden action. And the second way I see this going down is that Izuoi finds the door, he tells her about it, she tells him about her forbidden action, and then he tries to escape anyway because he's no longer being brainwashed by that candy that she uses, and that's when she decides to kill him. So these are my two opinions of how this could have happened, but I'm curious to hear your own in the comment section. And either way, I don't think Ruruka is a good person at all. I mean, we see in this episode that she straight up used her candy to just try and brainwash Juzo to do her bidding, so I would not be shocked if that's what her and Izuoi's friendship and relationship is based on completely, especially since we do see him eating candy in every scene that they're together in. So then Kirigiri shows the secret door and then proclaims that she believes that it is in fact an exit. But in all honesty, I believe that she is bluffing about this because after Juzo and Ruka begin fighting each other over it, Ryota asks if they should go for the secret exit and she shakes her head no. This is why I believe that she was in fact lying about this, and what's behind the secret door is still unknown. And moving on to the last scene between Ryota and Kirigiri, he asks why she believes that Kizakura saved her, and she states that she does not know, but she has her suspicions. I do believe that none of the 78th class ever regained their memories from the time they attended Hope's Peak Academy, so if this is the case, then I do believe there is a chance that Kirigiri doesn't have a whole lot of clear memories of her dad and Kizakura hanging out with her when she was little, but since she states that she does have her suspicions about the whole situation, I do think she might have a tiny memory of him, or at least she went off of the words that he mentioned before in the episodes. But that's just my whole opinion on the situation. I'd love to hear yours as well. And finally, I'm going to talk about Tegami and Hagakure's role in this episode, and where I believe all the Future Foundation members were moved. Their whole role in this episode was trying to get inside the building, and at one point Hagakure wishes he was inside, and Tegami tells him that there's no way to know whether or not the inside is safer than the outside. And after entering the building, one of Tegami's men touches this woman who appears to be a robot of some sort, and this sets off a bomb, making the whole building collapse. And here is where I want to talk about that theory that I mentioned earlier about where the Future Foundation members were moved to. So a while back in one of the first episodes, Kirigiri noticed that when Izuyoi threw his weapon in the first episode, an indent was left in the wall, but after they had been put to sleep and Shisa had been killed, the indent was gone. This implied that they had been moved to a different area, a different building, or that they had been put into a virtual world. Then in one of the other later episodes, we see that when Hagakure is being shot at by helicopters, it affects the inside of the building when Izuyoi ran into that door. But something that can be noted here is that the impact from this only comes from the ceiling. Then similarly here we see that the building is in fact collapsing, and that the impact from this is only coming from the ceiling. So this implies to me that they were moved underground beneath the building. And I'm guessing if they're far enough underground, then it means that the building collapsing will not kill all of them. As for how Hagakure or Tegami might get out of this mess, I have no idea. But anyways, this concludes my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any comments, ideas, suggestions, or anything like that. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this review, it'd be awesome if you left a like or a comment. It really helps me out, and I will see you guys real soon. Oh, it's him. He was in war. I was wondering. Oh, there he is. Wow. Wow, Tegami smiling. That's like rare. I don't know if I've ever seen him smile. Probably Juzo. Maybe. Oh god, no. That's way worse than Juzo. Munakata, aka psychopath right now. Carry him on your back, Asahina. Oh, she can't even recognize him. Oh god, she's using the scarf. It's a fancy sword. Oh my god. Turn into a lightsaber? What is up with Ryota's face this scene? No, like for real, like what is up with Ryota's face? That was weird. He looks so derpy. Like Ryota looks seriously derpy in the scene. What the heck? Oh my god, Ryota. Starting to look like Sumiki. Yeah, that was like the fakest trip I've ever seen. He just beats up everybody. Like, he doesn't even try to talk to people. Oh, they're gonna actually say it. I can't believe they actually are saying it. That's awesome. Oh god. Whew, that flashback. Interesting. Huh. Oh. Dang, Kizakura is really smart. Huh. Oh my god. No, don't let her be the one who dies! Okay, thank god. Oh, no. Don't kill off my waifu, Kotaka. No. Oh my god. What the freaking... Oh my god. Why are so many people dying right now? Oh no. Dang. Ruka is a freaking... God, everybody was right about her. I tried to think she might have been nice. Like, just when I started to like him, too. I'm so sad. I, like, just started to like him. Okay, yeah, Ruka is officially, like, Satan, too. God, she is evil! Ah, man, I knew she was, like, you know, like a bitch, but not, like, straight up just dog nasty evil. Oh. Wonder if he'll try to punch them now. Because he's not thinking straight. Nope. Good. Oh my god, we were, like, all... Yeah, that theory was, like, straight on right. Oh god. Ew! Kirigiri. It's like a step down from waifu material. She did it on purpose. Gosh, she is evil. Gosh. Yeah. You didn't deserve Seiko. Oh, what? How did they get out of that? What? Oh, of course, the end of the episode. God, these cliffhangers. Yeah, wow, that's wow.
Subscribe to Weeby News for more hope-filled videos.